where we talk to the man who has led his team to outscoring his opponents 142-3 through the first 2 weeks. Talk about Coach Tim Rebowe, the Nicholls State Colonels. Coach Rebowe, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for waking up with us.
What's up, guys? Glad to join you this morning.
So, Coach, it's been a heck of a journey since you've taken over at Nicholls. Obviously, there's already been a ton of success to this point. I just don't know, Coach, that I can ever remember a more exorbitant 2 weeks than what I have just witnessed out of the Nicholls State Colonels. Again, winning. I mean, have you ever experienced anything like beating your first two opponents 142-3?
No, never. In my coaching career have I had this, and it's kind of crazy. The first week we played Lincoln, who was a Division II school. We did what we were supposed to do, but anytime you play a conference opponent like we did in Lamar, and our guys just came out and played hard and played fast, and we just jumped on them, and it just kind of got out of hand in the second half.
Coach, I want to talk about your quarterback, Lindsey Scott Jr., who obviously our listeners know from the area. He was a star at Zachary. He signed with LSU, and we know he's had a couple of different stops. But what's it been like for you getting a guy like that who has so much talent, and he looks like he is really, really just wanting to go out there, be a team leader, and play really good football?
Look, everybody's journey is different. We always talk about that. No two people are the same, and Lindsey's journey was a different one to get here, and I think he was looking for the right place, the right fit. He came here and he sat for a year because he was not eligible and learned the offense and learned everything that we did and became such a team player. And now it's his time. And boy, he stepped up and he's making the most out of every opportunity. But you don't get many players like of his caliber to come through here, man. He is really special.
Well, and Coach, so we're kind of talking about unprecedented things. It's not just, these margins of victory, but I mean, here y'all are playing football in the spring, right? What was it like, I guess, this fall, kind of having to watch football go on, where you got to try to keep these kids motivated and locked in and saying, look, our time is coming. How was this fall like? And then what's it been like playing football here in March and February?
I think the toughest part in the fall was when we had to tell the guys that we were not playing, and then they saw other teams around the country still going on, and that was probably tough for them to say, why not us, why we can't do it. And our conference chose to do that, in which I respect the FCS, and our guys want to play for something. A little bit different, again, was the December part. Usually, you guys played what June and July was like for you when you're getting ready for August. It was workouts and all the lifting and the running, and we didn't have any of that in December. The guys showed back up in January. But I will tell you this, once we started practicing, it felt like camp. We ran it like we would do in the August, kept the same meeting structures, walkthroughs, all of that. And then once it got to game week, our guys were excited. You couldn't tell them that it was August or name any month. You couldn't tell. They just knew it was game week and they were ready to play.
All right, Coach, so you kind of mentioned it, other teams playing, and your team was having to watch that, including, teams within your own conference. I mean, Central Arkansas played a full schedule in the fall, and now here you are in the spring, and then you're going to play again in the fall. So have you kind of changed maybe some things that you're doing right now because you are playing in the fall, or are you saying, hey, this is our season, we'll play it out, and then we'll get to that after it finishes in April?
Yeah, there's no playbook for this. Coaches, we call people, we steal, we borrow from people, and how you do this, how you do that, and that's going to be unprecedented. So our deal right now is let's play the spring, let's play the season. Hopefully we're fortunate enough to be playing in late April and early March when there's playoffs, and then we'll figure it out from there. But, we have spring ball where, you usually do it over a 4 or 5 week period, and you get those 15 days. I'm sure we'll come back and condense some things this summer and be smart and be ready for August.
Coach, I'm talking to Coach Tim Rebowe here on Off the Bench, head coach of the Nicholls State football program. Program that I'm familiar with, Coach. My little brother played there back in the day. I went to a lot of Nicholls games. At the time, though, if we're just being honest, the program was in a bit of shambles. I mean, we're talking like winless seasons. I watched them lose badly to Division II team during that time. And I guess my question is now, you have a couple years of success and playoffs, and and all of this, and now it's almost starting to feel like, that is the expectation, is this level of success. What is the biggest difference in the culture or just that you see in the program between when you first arrived to where you're at now in 2021?
See, Bob, I remember back in those days, when I was in Lafayette and following the program, and some of the scores were ugly. And I would go back to, and I tell this story, the year before we got here, I watched Southeastern put like 60 on Nicholls at home. And then the next year, we go to Hammond and we beat them. And so that kind of started to change. And I always thought there's good players in this area. I always thought this was a special place. The people were starving for something, and you knew they would support it, and they do. They just want to see a good product on the field. We were fortunate enough to sign some good local players who end up being some winners and change this thing around. And it has become the expectations. And one of the things that we talked about why we're playing in the spring is, we're coming off back-to-back conference championships.
Yep.
Our guys didn't want to play in the fall and just to play for nothing. I always tell guys, think about high school ball. Everybody played it. Would you just want to play 10 games and never have an opportunity to go to playoffs? No, you're always playing for something. So our guys said, Coach, we want a chance to play for another conference championship in the playoffs and had bigger goals. So I was proud of them for that.
And, Coach, obviously you spending time at Nicholls as an assistant, I know your brother played there as well. So this is a program that has meant something to you, even when you were away, when you were at Louisiana Monroe or UL Lafayette. This is still something that meant something to you. And so what's it been like kind of getting them back to that point just for you personally?
Well, I remember watching Rusty play in the 70s, in the mid to late 70s, and coming to the games over here, and it was always fun, special place. And he's been the biggest supporter, too, coming back to all the games and just giving back to the program. And it's good to see the people in the stands. And the community is such a tight-knit. You guys know about family and what it does around here, and those guys love. And we've done that, and we've got a lot of players that when they're done playing, they're going to come back to games because they're from this area. And they're going to come and want to support. And their pictures all over the place, their names all over the place, embedded in the history here.
All right, Coach, and so I know you spent a lot of time on the defensive side of the football, and when you score 142 points, the offense, that's going to get the headlines. You're talking to two offensive guys here, so we led with it, but we do have to give the defense some credit. Yes, 142 points on the offensive side, but you've only given up 3 points in 2 games, so talk about your defense.
Yeah, one thing that I've learned as a coach, you say on the defensive side, that I'm smart enough to get out of the way and let my coordinators coach, okay, on both sides. I'll let them do all the work. I'm telling you, I got 2 really, really good ones, and they get them to play. Our defense has been special. We're not complicated. We try to simplify things for our guys so they can run and not think so much and play fast, and I think that's what we've done. Interesting this week, I don't know, Lamar came in with a whole new staff. We haven't seen him play. We didn't have any film of them. We didn't know what to expect, and we really got after him. And I didn't realize this until yesterday, guys, that they did not take one snap in our territory on our side of the 50. So they got the ball one time, I think, at the 49-yard line. There was a tackle for loss and then a sack, and then they were punting it away. So that was as close as they got. So defense was really getting after it. They had 30 yards in the second half. And I would tell you this, we played a lot of guys in the second half. We really did. So my hat's off to them. Those guys were starting to feed off each other. You know that when they feel in that shutout, y'all know how that goes, man. Those guys wanted it bad.
Yeah, and congrats to everybody, like you said, holding that rope and getting the shutout done. So this weekend, Coach, good luck heading up to Natchitoches. Take on my old man's out of my alma mater, Northwestern State Demons. How about this, though? And last one before I let you go. How is it a bit odd preparing for a game in which, like, you played 2, Northwestern hasn't played any? I guess it's just the oddness is kind of par for the course at this point.
Yeah, we've been discussing that now a little bit. The 2 things is, first of all, I don't need to see that Abel fella around campus anytime this week. I don't know if he's going to come around and say, I just wanted to talk to you, So, no, listen, it is kind of crazy. And like I said, last week we didn't have the film. And then I talked to Brad Laird last week, and He's going to have 2 games on us. His game got canceled, so I have none. But at least I have, when we played them last in 19, and we have film in the past of them. And then I'll tell you this, moving forward, we're going to play a Sam Houston team after that. They've only played 1 game, and they're going to have 3 games on us. So it is an odd, weird year. But, you still got to go out and perform and put it on the field.
Coach Tim Rebowe, the man who has led the incredible turnaround at Nicholls State, the turnaround that looks to continue. Again, Lindsey Scott, names that a lot of our listeners recognize, killing it down there, quarterback right now, and who doesn't love football in the spring? Coach Rebowe, thanks so much for waking up with us, man.
Hey, guys, anytime, man. Thanks for having me. I'll speak to y'all soon.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Coach.
Absolutely.